Hello guys, Woohoo here, back with another episode of the news show. A little correction from last week. I did say it was week 25. It's actually week 25 this week. And if you didn't know, tomorrow, as you're watching this, the devs are going to have their live stream. I'm not sure if they're going to have one also on Friday, but they're definitely having one tomorrow, and you should tune in. If you watch the recent videos on here about Trove, there is Twitch drops. So if you want to win a carpet just by automatically, go check out that video and go make sure you tune in to the devs live stream tomorrow as you're watching this on, of course, on a Monday. it's tomorrow. Getting into the news, first of all, I want to shout out Zero. Thank you so much for doing these live stream notes so I can go over them here on the news. So let's just jump into it. So there's a little bit of a pretext there, but it's mostly just going into the question and answers section this time. And the first one is I really like how Sunseeker, I think is Roman. He is the NPC for the whole quest line we have going on right now. I think that ends on actually tomorrow. I think that's been 2 weeks. And they're kind of liking how it's rewarded, like in the sense that when you complete it, the whole thing can go back and pick up some more to get some more of these, what are they called? Magic Find potions. It actually is 75 Magic Find for 1 hour, but if you have Patron, actually 150. I figured out that Friday when I was using them on Patron. So just keep that in mind that it's actually 150 with Patron. And they're looking very closely at the NPC. Basically, they wanted same thing come to NPCs and clubs, and they're looking into it, and they're basically considering people's feedback if they are if it's something that people like, and it's definitely something we like for sure. Next thing is if there's any plans of syncing like Aventurine, Plasmium, and other fee. And they're talking in this one about syncs, and they didn't really understand it fully, so they wanted to clarify. But they're just looking for more syncs. So I'll jump from this question to the next one. There's a structural building outside the hub. If you haven't seen that, if you load into the hub, you look right at the atlas. Right on the left, there's a structure being built, and it's actually a floaty ship device thing that is going to take you to Geode. So they're actually already kind of in steps, building up towards Geode. And I think this is absolutely amazing. And I think they should do this like all the time, like kind of build the hype also up, and what is this building and what does this do, and all, like people are kind of getting curious instead of just, oh, here's an update, here's some Geode, here's some stuff, but they're actually building up and introducing lore at the time. Not that we are like big lore fans, all of us, but it's actually very, very important that we have lore, because it makes possibilities to make different changes that make sense for people instead of just plopping in different things here and there. Next question is if they're gonna take something about tutorials, so people can like go from Trove to Geode and the other way around, and they haven't planned any tutorials yet. Next one be, will you consider adding silver and gold companion eggs to the Bomb Royale merchant? They're looking into feedback, but definitely not golden eggs in the companions there. When will they fix the Dino Tamer's ultimate bug? That has actually been a bug for a very long time. They're looking into fixing it for the next after Geode, because the Dino Tamer is not as popular amongst people as many other classes. They won't like prioritize it in other things. There's actually a question down here that I'll get to right after this, because they say, when will there be new dragons? There's going to be some in the Geo update. There's going to be the one after that. Basically, what we can take from this is that they're always going to introduce new dragons, and dragons is always going to be like the thing that people want the most. And we're definitely going to see some new ones. Geode, for example, there's the Plague one or Poison one from Bomb Royale and stuff like that. And here is the question: any like plans on fixing the problem with sometimes our ultimate goes on cooldown and you don't get the effect of it. Sometimes that happens, not too often, but it does happen, and some classes rely more sorry, or about their ultimate. For example, the gunslinger. I've noticed that sometimes as well. It's kind of annoying, but it's not that common. Thank God for that. But it's actually been a problem that's been like way long, and they're actually looking into it. But they're definitely working on it. They'll see. Sadly, don't fix the whole problem. So I think it's a more of internal, like a lot of like maybe you have your potions on that causes a bug when you do ultimate or something like that. There's more problems to it probably, or basically probably a ripple effect when you use specific things in that sense. There's also any plans of changing the Dino Tamer's ultimate so you can fly. I don't think it needs any rework or anything like that. They're talking about a revamp. Maybe actually the word revamp is actually better for all these reworks we're getting. Maybe revamping it maybe is a better word for it. I've been talking on the news show previously about having these reworks and what it is, or it's just buffs or anything like that. Maybe a revamp is actually the accurate word for what they're actually doing. And I don't think it needs anything gliding, but that is at least what people want. I don't think it's going to change like the popularity of the Dino Tamer in any significant way. Do you have any future plans of adding more transit portals? Basically, just saying, letting you know, let them know if you want more of those. Probably not going to see a whole bunch of that at the moment, but yeah, you can always let them know that that is yeah. Next one is, will new auras coming out unlocking via the Prismas of Light? And they say no, it's going to be one with the crystal pinatas and one with Boreal. I think there was more, but they're both tradable, by the way. But I always say keep these, if you have some of these, always keep them on deck, and when a new update comes out, just go in, click them, see if it unlocks anything at all. If it doesn't, yeah, well, that's just keep it around. That's at least what I do. I just keep them around, and then I just use them and then say you have learned all of them. I'm just like, okay, there's no new ones basically. Next one is, any plans of making the despoiled divinities more obtainable than 3 a week? So you can get 3 of them if you do all of Shadow Towers and such. And don't you get more? No, you get 3. That's true. They're not wanting to do more with it because it's actually in a sweet spot right now, and I think it is so as well. It takes you like 2 weeks to get one if you can get all the way to Ultra, and that is not unreasonable. So it kind of screws over a little bit the new players that can't get so many at a week. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could change it now that most people have all of them. They should change it so you get, no matter what boss you kill, on what difficulty, you get 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like it'll still be, if you get it on normal, you get 3 of them, but you won't get 3 on hard and then 3 on, ultra, basically. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be any, like you couldn't stack it up or anything like that, but you will still, no matter what difficulty you would complete, you will get 3 of them. I think they could introduce that slowly because it's been out so long, so people do have like most of it, so it won't affect, but it will only affect the people that can't do high ones. And yes, there is a little bit of using them for other things you sync them into, but I think that's a good thing because people might want to get the costume before they craft or sync them into something else. So maybe having them use them on normal, hard, and ultra. You only, like, it doesn't matter which difficulty you do, you always get the. I would think that would actually be quite great for newer players, and maybe that's something they could do. I don't know how much that is OP in some way, but I don't really see any being really OP in any way, because it's just gonna help newer players that's already struggling. So it's not gonna change like maybe the mid-tier players. Maybe they're gonna change those, but definitely not for the high-end players. Definitely so. Maybe that's a solution to getting more of these if you are on the lower difficulties. Any chance of commander there's a there's the VFX to make it manageable. You can always just go to the settings. I don't think it's a, doesn't it take like the same amount of resources to put a command in chat? I don't know, but at least you can just go there if you want the VFX down. Next is the fish dragon. If it's gonna the jumping jade fish. Apparently, it's kind of hard to do on consoles. It was original 5,000. That's the kind of thing, but I don't think it needs to be. It's not one of the hardest one. I think it's of all the dragons that came out that patch, I think it's like the third hardest one. So you got like the first one with the flower one, the second one being the infinium one, and then the last one being the fish one. And you even get more now of the other ones. So I don't know if that actually makes it harder, but at least when it came out, that was kind of the ranking of how difficult it was to get. So I think it's in a sweet spot. I think I don't think it's pretty difficult to get. I think it's difficult to get. I don't think it's pretty difficult to get. But also, when will we see new gems? And they say when the second phase of Geo unlocks. So I'm not sure what they mean by this. When the second phase unlock. If they mean that second phase is U10, that it's divided into two phases. The first phase being the one we're getting tomorrow, and then the second phase being U10. I don't think that's is it. But we are at least getting new gems, and again, people say with an S, but that's the question. So I don't know if they multiply it again with the colors. Are we going to see more colors? Or are we going to see one color? I think we just have to just look at it and definitely. Next thing is if they're increasing the level cap by U10. We're considering, but definitely not set in stone yet. As U10 comes, there will be more information. So as I'm reading this, I'm kind of reading into it being that it is going to be quite more closer to a yes than a no, I would say. We could see some more increases. We talked about this previously, where we're talking about how if they're going to keep the level cap, they have to introduce more, gems in between levels, and I think that actually makes it more smooth of a level, because going from 26, right, level 26 to 30, the only thing you get is a lesser gem slot. So basically, it's like nothing in really comparison. So you could be, maybe you couldn't be exactly 20,000 power rank, but you could at least be like 17 or something like that by doing all of these other gems. But I think that is a long way, and it's also there where you need the most experience. And I definitely think that there should be more. Even spread out with the gems. But if we see a leveling increase, of course, there's gonna be like more room for putting in gems and making it more consistent, or making it more, what would you say, linear. That's what I mean, more linear. See, and then next question, they're talking about again the new NPC, the guy for the event, and they're not testing for rework how he's working, but they're experimenting for like extra rewards and stuff like that. And if that's a success, which I feel like it is, it's just something people have to be aware of. There's more, so but that's got to of course be like a natural thing. And then of course they're gonna keep holding on to that, and that you can go get more out of the guy. But again, they're not testing for rework, but they're just seeing how people feel about it. So make sure you say what you feel about it. Any plans of adding a new end content for Geo to being released soon? I don't know what this person's question was, because they've said so many times that U10 is coming later this year. And that is probably going to give us new endgame content, I'm pretty sure. At least with the U10, but Shadow Towers, we gotta see if that's gonna be somewhere there. Can we get a cinnabar tome? And yes, of course, there's coming a cinnabar tome, and it can be made by in the rune crafting one. That's because it's a repeatable one, yeah. So definitely gonna use that one. So yeah. Next question: can we have alphabet blocks? And they have musical blocks with letters, but yeah, they will look into maybe getting the English alphabet. But again, like they talk about, it might be wanting something different, like other side of the English alphabet, like maybe I don't know. There could be there's even the few letters in the Danish alphabet that the English alphabet doesn't have. So you know that's a slippery slope. I would kind of say in the same. Next two questions I'm kind of going to skip because the first one is please make Cinnabar easier to farm, and you know it's coming with the geo update and the tome. I don't think it needs to be easier, by the way. And next one is of course the Shadow Giants maybe spawning very rare ramparts and rampage bosses and stuff like that. So yeah, I was gonna skip that one. Next one is, can you let us choose our own color name? And I've talked about this in a recent, I think I talked about it in a news show, but I also talked about it on the podcast, that it should be, I definitely talked about it on the stream, something where you can, now that we're getting a lot more color, we're getting 2 more colors, I think 2 or 3 colors more your name can be for different things about you and stuff like that. The thing is, you cannot choose what color of your name is. It takes priority. So, for example, if you're a developer, you have a green name, and you cannot. That's the highest, right? And nothing will like change that color. And what we're talking about is that we wanted, or I think it would be a cool idea if you could, of course, choose the name of your color, but also get introduced what's it called, titles for something like you have in World of Warcraft, where you do the insane achievement, you get the insane title, so you can be named Wahoo the Insane, for example, or something like Shadow Slayer or Shadow Titan Slayer or something like that. If you've done all the Shadow Towers, like all the badges for them all, I think that the system is already there. Just introduce the titles, and I think it makes some people wanting like that customization in stuff and making people more unique is what keeps people playing in many times. So, but the point is the colors of the names are definitely something on their radar. The title thing is a personal idea, but tracking they're tracking it now as a real task, you know. So they're going to look into it. You can choose for the ones you have the week. So if you lose, for example, yellow name, you can't choose that one. You can choose whatever, and I guess there's just going to be like choosable. Next thing is the Dormant Lore Keeper Dragon Egg. That was the first dragon egg from the Radiant Dayspring. The first dragon, the only dragon. But it will, of course, get to this. They have said it in the, they say perhaps via Luxians, but it is going to come to them. We know that. They have said that in the past. So if so, when? We're probably not going to see that. What will the power rank be for U10? No information yet. We'll start talking about it when we will let you know. So I'm very interested in this because right now we have around 26,000 is like kind of the max of many classes. We are probably not going to, if they introduce like a whole bunch of stuff to U10 and whatnot, we are probably going to see numbers around 30,000, 32,000 or something like that. And people at 26,000 has quite an easy way through Ultra Shadow Towers, which is basically the end game of the game, right? And if you just bump that up, the power rank up to that, and also just moving everybody else up, because people are going to increase by getting more gems, even if you just get the lowest of the specific gem, like green ones, for example, you're still going to get a little bit up, right? Maybe 10, but still up, right? The point being that you can get really high on these power ranks, and I think it can kind of come out of hand, and it's just going to be like, oh, what is your power rank? It's basically like Take for example, if you have ever seen or played World of Warcraft, they have in this expansion, it had the artifact weapon where you put in artifact power into it. And as you now get so far in the game, because something it was something acknowledgement buff or something like that, like increased to 55%. So a quest you normally like get 100 artifact power from, now you get like a billion or something like that. What to call artifact power, right? So it's just a crazy amounts of like unfathomable, basically artifact power you get for these weapons. And I just don't hope the same thing comes to U10 or to Trove, basically, that we're gonna see like crazy amounts of power rank, and there's not gonna be many things that can hold you back in the sense of being like a challenge because you have this high. So it's kind of, I find it all cool if they increase the power rank, but they also kind of have to keep the challenge the same way. So making Shadow Towers not harder and difficulties, but making more difficulties or something like that. I don't know how they're gonna be, but yeah, power rank should not run out of hand. That's at least what I think. Again, can we make Rampage happen more often? It's a common question, and I think it's balanced right now, but I would like to see again, if they introduce Rampages, which I hope for other biomes like other sub biomes and stuff like that. They've kind of gone back on that. I think again they should have introduced one with the recent update, or with Geode maybe. Just copy paste the whole thing to another biome. And again, we have all the reputation talk we had before and stuff like that. We're not going to go into that, but and then make the hourly chain, like the coin collection, always on the top of the hour, and then rampages on the bottom of the hour. I know right now that would be not too much, right? But when you introduce more, like for all the biomes, it would be random which one does it be, and there would be a lot of rampages, and then people would know if you wanted rampages, you can just do it on the bottom of the hour, and if you're looking for coin collections, it's the top of the hour, right? So I think that would also be kind of making it more, it will still be random which rampages you would, for what sub biomes it would be, of course, but it would still be more consistent in what people are looking for, but still being random, kind of what they want. They want it to be super random. We want it to be super constant, and find that middle ground. Again, with the next question is, of course, again, the Sun and Moon aura, and they're talking about it, and we're actually getting confirmation that it's definitely not going to be on Luxian, and they said that actually might come to that guy, but it's not. It's not coming to Luxian, and I think that's great. They say they will talk about possible ways to bring it back. I think they should just introduce the pack again. I think it's just like the pack should be available again for the same price, the same things, and people can just get access to it. If you want to pay for it, pay for it. Other people paid for it, so you shouldn't be like have an easy way to access it than other people actually paid money for it. So just introduce the pack again. I think that's the easier solution. We'll all be able to, without purchasing pack, all companions. Bronze X will give you all 3 rarity companions with a lower chance of the higher tier ones. So yes, all can be obtained without buying packs. Yes, that's good. Next one is there, can we get a South American server? They are not planning on right now. Hopefully we can, hopefully they expand to more regions, like China and stuff like that. Asia, for example, I think they will have a big. I think they can still play it, but they have to play it on a EU server or American server, and I think that's a little bit too much for people to ask for. Next thing is, any new packs going to be added to the storage Geode? Yes, a few good ones. I like they say a few good ones, and some more shortly after that. So it's gonna be good ones, guys. It's not gonna be terrible. Okay, and last question is, will there be a new rarity of gear and gems and in U10? And they say maybe. So we know there is going to be new gems in U10, but we don't know if there's going to be new rarity of gear. And I definitely think we've talked about this in the past. I definitely think that there should be new rarity of gear, because gear, as it is right now, is very, very subpar to gems. And I think they should keep it at that, but still like introducing more gems, like do something another tier with the gear again. But that also introduced more power rank, and again we're in the what we talked about, what will the power rank be for U10 B and stuff like that. So well, again, like I said, thank you guys if you made so far in the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you guys like this video so I know you are enjoying these news shows. I do really like doing them and going over the news, which it's kind of like a little bit of a talk with you guys, as I also do, of course, on the stream. But make sure you guys also tune in to the live stream tomorrow with the devs and stuff like that, because they are going to give away these carpets just automatically. So go on to see the other video I did. I will link it in the description also with all the other stuff, and you can just go click out that video and make sure you sign up before tomorrow, so you just tune into that live stream and just get the carpet for free, right? So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next new show. Thank you again so much, and bye.